Another Protoss mirror match, and this time we see the game on Daybreak. To the top right, we have in red our Swedish Protoss player, the foreigner fighting in the GSL. It is
NaNiWa. NaNiWa.
I think it's a double introduction today. Yeah. Street Fighter voice is cheering for NaNiWa. Look at this pose. At the bottom left, we have his opponent victorious in game number 1, the STX player. This is, of course,
STX Soul Mini.
Probe having a bit of a identity crisis about that gateway. He was like, do I really just want to keep making gateways for Tassadar? Do I want to do that, or do I want to actually just become a businessman and start my own business and change my life?
Mini using a QSEN.
Yeah.
One of the QSENs 35, I think.
DT35.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, it's by far the most popular keyboard in Korea for gaming. In fact, they made even a special gaming edition of it after it was more popular.
Well, right now we have the scouting for Mini. He sends out one of his probes, and of course now NaNiWa is under a lot of pressure. His opponent was doing really well in the last game, so NaNiWa had strategies prepared for all these matches. What is he going to do in the second game? Daybreak now is a match where we've seen actually a lot of Stargate openings. That's something that we had in the WCS Korea quite often.
Yeah, Daybreak is a map that's really hard to make blink work as far as blinking into the main base goes, because you can only blink really at the natural. So that's the strategy that's hardest to make work on this map. But if your opponent takes an expansion, you can just fight them there and use your blink offensively like that. But trying to go for blink as an expansion technique, even though it's not even that popular anymore these days, is just quite rare.
I'm really interested to see what the follow-up is going to be. On this map we've seen so many fast-paced games in the WCS Korea, a lot of Stargate openings, of course this creator style where you go for the 2 sentries and then transition into an expansion has also been seen quite often on this map. But it's really, a lot of times it's a bit of a gamble what exactly you're going to do, and this is something that you might be really uncomfortable with. You might want to try to play a safe game on this map. Because NaNiWa right now has to ask himself, what can Mini do, what will his opponent do? And as you already pointed out, if he loses this map, he's out of Code A, and that's something that you really don't want to happen, because it's just so hard to qualify for Code 8 again. Double Stalker opening by NaNiWa.
Yeah. He's, actually they're both going to grab these early Stalkers, but the tech is the most important thing, and we're about to find out what it's going to be. NaNiWa has a probe actually hidden to the north. He may just make a pylon there for later warpins, or he may also hide tech there. There's their box. Actually, both players going robotics. This can be a funny situation.
Yeah, it really could be. Both of them with a bit of a safer play, so we don't see any kind of Stargate opening, of Blink opening, all these aggressive strategies, but the pylon has been spotted. Mini sees the pylon of NaNiWa, and on the other hand, Mini's pylon was not seen by his opponent, so this is like the worst case scenario for NaNiWa right now.
Yeah, as far as pylons on the map go, this is very painful for him. He's actually dropping another pylon. He's trying to fake his opponent out. He wants him to think he's putting on blink aggression, most likely. Oh, nice catch here. Get some Stalkers for free. Boom. Only going to get one. The other one does escape, but NaNiWa actually is utilizing now this pressure since his opponent's Stalkers are out of position. Forces him to warp in sentries. It means NaNiWa back at home can start the first Observer. His opponent even makes an Immortal.
He has high ground vision now. He can take down the pylon if he continues to have vision, but the Stalker will die. He scouts though. He goes into the base and gets as much scouting information as much as possible. Right now he might actually be able to just rally back and get high ground vision, but the sentries are in position this time. Will the force field be there? Yeah.
I think so. And he actually traps 2 Stalkers. Not good for NaNiWa.
No, that's not good at all, especially with the Immortal popping out. Both of them die, and this is horrible. At first it looked really amazing for NaNiWa, taking down the Stalker, getting all the information, but now he lost 3 Stalkers, which is always a bad thing to happen. In terms of resources lost, Mini is now far ahead.
Yeah, and he's actually going to take a Nexus and try to block his opponent's natural with a sentry. He's going to get data force to the bomb ramp. He may even warp in additional sentries. He is, actually. That's exactly what he's doing right now, getting another sentry here.
But with a double Immortal, it's going to be really difficult for NaNiWa to pull that off.
He just has to be so patient.
He will be able to take down the pylon, but now we have this forward pylon for Mini being put to some use with a Stalker and the 2 Zealots.
He's actually
Running
warping
into the
another
natural.
pylon into the main.
Uh-oh.
The Stalker was not seen, but this Immortal just gets a free kill. Targets down the Sentry first, though, and he can just warp in Zealots into the main base.
This is horrible now.
Yeah.
How many gates does he actually have?
He only has 2, though, so he can't do too much damage.
But still, it's a very uncomfortable situation for NaNiWa. He does not know about either one of these pylons. Uses a force field in the main base to block those Zealots off, and now returning with the rest of his units immediately. So far, Mini hasn't used this forward pylon. NaNiWa doesn't really spot it. It's so close, but he doesn't see it.
Yeah, he doesn't know it's there. Which is actually quite good for Mini. He can use this later on in the game. But this actually accomplished a lot for Mini. He was able to break the contain. NaNiWa didn't feel comfortable staying there. He wasn't sure how many units he was going to need at home. So he decided to actually just pull back with those units, allowing Mini to move down, take his natural. But it is extremely late. NaNiWa not mining from his just yet, but he will very soon.
This pylon in the main base could be the end for NaNiWa later on. If there's a huge fight and Mini uses this timing to warp in 1 or 2 Zealots and controls them into the mineral line of NaNiWa, they could do an enormous amount of damage. If he falls behind in the work account and suddenly is just in a worse shape than his opponent regarding the income, it could mean the end of the Swedish player.
Yeah, this is a really critical pylon. It also depends on how it's used. NaNiWa still hasn't seen it. His Stalker's getting so close. And now he finds it.
Yeah, well, that was, I don't want to say lucky, but that was exactly what he needed. So it's really good that at this point, Mini did not really make use of that. But we have a Warp Prism now with the double Immortal, so he might be able to do some damage here. He wasn't able to use this forward pylon in the main base of his opponent, but now we have him with Warp Prism speed. And Warp Prism speed with a double Immortal can be so annoying. The Warp Prism is actually so fast after the speed upgrade finished.
Well, he's going to drop these down. He will likely kill some Stalkers here. One will go down. Ah, he mistargeted though. He's just going to kill a Probe and some Warping in Zealots. He actually warps in 2 of his own. And will he get a Stalker before he gets out? He will get 2. Uh-oh, these forces for NaNiWa are really nice. He's going to lose the Immortals potentially. Oh!
The force fields actually save him. The sentries are just not able to close the distance and take down the Warp Prism, but it's now so low on health. I like the idea of warping into additional Zealots though in order to block NaNiWa's Zealots and focus on the Stalker. So a lot of damage done by Mini, but both of them are at the same amount of supply at this point. NaNiWa with a later Robotics Bay once again, so his tech is far behind Mini's.
But the faster gases, and
Yes.
he has the count of Immortals they need. The basically 200 gas that went into the Robotic Support Bay for Mini went into 2 Immortals for NaNiWa. So the Immortal count is so important here, and just look at how much damage these Immortals of his opponent can do. He's going to get out again with that Warp Prism, really nicely controlled, and speed is done now for it, so he can easily escape.
There was just no anti-air left for NaNiWa. He tried to focus down the Warp Prism, but he did not succeed because the Stalkers were gone too fast. Those Immortals doing a lot of damage. And Mini playing a great game here, already getting a little bit ahead in overall supply. He's on his way with the with this range upgrade, and another Stalker dies.
Yes. He is actually going to check for the 3rd base now with those Immortals in the Warp Prism. He's just trying to pick off what he can here. He will actually get away with killing the Zealot here.
NaNiWa lost more than twice the amount of resources that Mini lost.
Nice pylon block here, though, will annoy Mini. Plus, it gives him the scouting information that his opponent's going for a 3rd. NaNiWa has started his Forge. Still no range, though.
And Mini goes for double robotics facility, as does NaNiWa. Both of them really want to focus on the Colossus production now.
Now, Mini is in a position to continue to do Warp Prism drops. He's got to get out there very quick this time, but damage, again, is done. He knows that the Stalkers are in the main base. He knows his opponent is making Colossi, so he's not going to be making Stalkers. He already spent enough gas on the Sentries, so he doesn't have the minerals to buy Colossi and those Stalkers. So he sees where the Stalkers are there in the main. He's got the Observer to spot for that, and he actually just goes the other place.
He moves in again, tries to take down a pylon, just gets back in time. There's only 1 Stalker, and as long as Mini doesn't lose this Warp Prism with the 2 Immortals, it will be a good trade for him. He did so much damage already. He killed pylons, he killed Stalkers, he killed a few probes. He did an amazing job with this Warp Prism. He's moving in again. He just has to be careful that he doesn't lose it, but so close.
Yep, he's walking a fine line right now.
He should not overdo it. At this point, NaNiWa has Stalkers everywhere, and Mini decides that it's a little bit too risky to stick around with a Warp Prism and retreats for now. He tries to find another angle though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's going to pick off, well, no, that's his own Zealot on the Watchtower. But It was possibly he tries to go for rallying Colossi. I think he is just realizing now, though, that he should keep the Warp Prism alive for later, use it during a fight, rather than actually trying to use it to do any more harassment. It's just not going to be effective anymore. NaNiWa sees the third base timing, by the way, and this is likely going to trigger an attack by him because he knows that he's a little bit behind with his economy. Both players' forge upgrades relatively even. Colossus count 2 to 4 though in Mini's favor. They're both making 2 right now. They're about to go up to 6.
One of the things that you will see NaNiWa do in these matches is for a long time it was really the uses for the Protoss players to chrono boost the Colossi. But this is one of the things that NaNiWa lately didn't do anymore. He chrono boosts the upgrades because as soon as he sees opponent move out, he can just stick at his base and get the additional Colossi that he needs to match his opponent's Colossi count, but he will be a little bit ahead in upgrades. We didn't really see this in this game so far. Cancel force! Wow. We didn't really see it in the game so far because NaNiWa just doesn't have the economy and he doesn't have this normal timings that he would be used to in this match. But it's just something that can play a huge role. With NaNiWa now cancelling his third and Mini already being on 3 bases, it doesn't really matter on the other hand, because Mini just has an additional Nexus, he has more Chrono Boost energy, he has the better income, and he was able to force the cancel. It's a horrible situation for NaNiWa to be in. Mini is playing amazing here.
Yeah, and his Warp Prism actually escapes with
9 hit points.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the end of this harass of the Warp Prism, though.
I think so too. At this point, Mini should really realize that it's probably a little bit too risky.
Mini knows that he's had his economy up at his third base for long enough to pay off, to where he should have more units than NaNiWa. He also has more gateways. Looks like he's going to move out and start putting physical pressure onto that third Nexus, like trying to kill it or make NaNiWa run away with his probes. Immortal Rescue here on the Zealots in the Watchtower.
The Warp Prism has his shield regenerated. He kills the Zealot and moves back. The resources lost in this game is 1,300 for Mini and 3,300 for NaNiWa. This is huge. And the Warp Prism still sticks around.
Still alive. He's going to the main base with it now. There's too many units there, though.
He has an observer in position, so he knows exactly where the stalkers are.
Okay, so now Mini's going to attack the third base, and when NaNiWa pulls his units from his main, because he's going to need those for the fight, that's when he might drop the Warp Prism in. Or, alternatively, as he's doing now, he can move it down, bring the Immortals in for flanks on Colossi, and then use it as a forward pylon.
Another base now for Mini. He actually established a 4th base while he's starting to attack with his army. As you already pointed out, he wants to go for the 3rd base, and he still has the option of dropping those Immortals with the Warp Prism. NaNiWa is looking at a Colossus count of 8 against 9, but the Archons are already in the mix of Mini's army. The Warp Prism is still around and trying to take down another Zealot.
NaNiWa sees this, though. He did see for just a second on the Watchtower that Mini is going for the attack. He needs to get into the best position possible. His +2 does finish here, so he's not going to have that disadvantage over his opponent. Mini starts +3 immediately, though. He's got +1 armor about to finish here. NaNiWa needs to hold. He's making another cannon right now. On the Warp Prism attack, he's actually warping into more Zealots there.
Oh, this is also for Mini, bad for NaNiWa. He needs to defend, but at the same time, he knows about the threat to his 3rd base. He's trying to defend.
Oh, the Colossus!
The Colossus is way too close to the Immortals, and they target it down immediately. The Colossus dies. The Immortals, they are still going strong, but he is able to defend, at least for now.
That was really great. Not only getting the Robo, but getting that Colossus. An insanely good trade for Mini, who's going for the attack again. Can NaNiWa fan out his units right now? They're really clumped up. He needs to spread those. This is the most important part of this part of PvP. The late game, the mid to late game, you've got to have the best split. And so far, NaNiWa not able to fire with all of his Colossi, whereas Mini can.
Mini is moving in now. This 3rd base is really under pressure, and it's about to die, whereas all those Archons are taking the damage. And NaNiWa, he just can't dish out enough damage. He's trying to go into the offensive, even using the last few Zealots that he has to target down those Colossi.
Those Zealots are so important. They're really helpful here. He's actually pushed him back a little bit. He needs to target his Immortals on the Colossi. NaNiWa holds the first wave, but the Zealots come in. They charge. NaNiWa needs to warp in his own Zealots. Does he have enough time? It's starting to look like he does not.
He still has a few Immortals available, and he needs to target down those Colossi. Mini is losing a lot, but so is NaNiWa, dropping down to IQ supply against 110. And
One
the
of the
last
Immortals
Colossi
comes in.
alive. Good job.
job.
Oh my god, NaNiWa is out of the GSL. Mini takes the series with a 2-0, advances to the 2nd round, to the round of 32.
Both players with very similar builds in game number 2. Mini, though, with better multitasking, using that Warp Prism so well, just slowly but steadily whittling NaNiWa down there. NaNiWa, you can see, is very upset.
The War Prism with a double Immortal Harass was really, really well executed. He killed so many probes, 16 in total, was able to take down a lot of Stalkers. He took down a couple of structures as well. Really good job here by Mini. And we haven't seen anything from him so far to this game, but I'm definitely sure that we will see a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. Guys, up next we have two Brood War legends. We have Songho, the player who's been around for a long time, not only in StarCraft 1 but in StarCraft 2. Really well known. He was kind of shaky for a while. He's back. He's rejoined MVP, and now he is ready to do some serious killing up, but he's up against Flash.
He's up against Flash, and Flash did really well in the OSL. He was able to win against MC. And one thing, of course, that we should also mention, actually, if asked before who's going to win this, most people would have said Flash immediately. I actually talked to a couple of coaches, and most of them thought that Flash is going to take the series. But at the same time, which you already said, Killer joined MVP, so he was struggling a little bit in the past, but now he is back in a Korean team. And players like Inori, after joining a foreign team and going back to a Korean team, said that it helped them so much to regain their strengths. So this time we might see a different Killer. Yeah, we might see a really, really strong Killer, so the next match is going to be so exciting. Flash against Killer in just a few minutes. We've been heading into another 5-minute break, and as soon as we are back, we will start the last best of 3 of the day here at the GSL.